Okay, so yes, it's all spiritual. So it turns out speciesism or speciesism, however you want to say it. What is it? All right. Basically, it is the view that our species is more superior to other species. Therefore, our morality is much more important than their morality. Now, this term is tossed around in many ways. Some use this term to try to basically control, in other words, pitch. Some use this term to care more for the animals than humanity, right? Some use this term as a way to wake up humanity to realize we are not separate from nature. So, in other words, the intention wouldn't be to, oh, it's all about the animals, forget humans. It would be about, no, it's about the animals and about the humans, right? Which are all part of life, all part of nature. So, speciesism is a way that is a thought or and a concept that separates humanity from their animal companions, or the animal, as I like to put it, the animal family and the animal realm. Now, one thing we have to be careful. So, the Super Bowl, and there was an ad from a company, uh, animal advocate company. You guys probably know who it is. Rhymes with the word Peter. All right, or like pita bread. And they have an ad. You should check it out if you find it. And all it's cartoony, and the hashtag is end speciesism. Okay, with all the animals kneeling down as a representation of the injustices of humans towards the animal realms. Now, having reflected on this a long time ago and coming from where I come from, this would also mean that if you are to, this is what you have to understand. If we are to end that speciesism, this means end everything else that goes against freedom and the happiness and joy and the pursuit and the free choice of all sentient beings to live in this life and pursue their happiness. So this would mean to end spaying and neutering of animals. Okay? There is no purpose whatsoever for that. There is none. Right? There is no legit. There is no, not even logical, because the logic behind it is illogical. It's a complete fallacy on its own. So there is no logical or reasonable reason as to why these creatures need to either, number one, be vaccinated by the poisons created by human, and number two, have their love organs, as I like to call it, cut off or mutilated. So if you are someone who talks about end speciesism, yet you believe in that, you are a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. You are at war with yourself, therefore you are at war with nature, because you have fears that you have not yet come to grips and destroyed the illusion of those fears. Speciesism, ending speciesism, would also mean, yes, you ready for it? Bringing in the taboo of those who have had their romantic relationships with their animal companion, quote unquote. Why the quote unquote? Romantic, quote unquote? Because most people think romantic, and when they hear about these stories, and these stories are as ancient as time itself, or as ancient as civilization itself, most people hear romantic and only tend to focus on the physical, physiological expression versus what was probably in someone's mind and heart when that happened. Okay? And so this now brings up the topic of consent. And the danger here is when, see, consent, let's stem away now from the animal realm and go into the human realm, quote unquote, which is all part of nature, anyways. But now we go into the topic of consent. And now people toss this term of consent around and use consent to create a what they perceive to be a common consent between beings. In other words, let's take back the animal realm. The consent of, or the experience of the man and his dolphin is not the same as the experience of two human individuals, because the explanation is the dolphin doesn't speak. So because the dolphin doesn't speak, the standards of the way the dolphin chooses to do what it chooses to do, or any of the nature's creatures or animals choose what they choose to do, or interact with humans what they choose to do, the standard is compared to human. So this is with the notion and confusion that yes, we are all one. Yes, we should respect and honor each other, but at the same time, we should honor each other's uniqueness, because humans communicate through the mouth, and or through word, or through vocal expression, and or words better said, and the animal doesn't. All right, doesn't mean that the animal doesn't know what it's doing, because it is the same way and mentality, that is the same mentality that people use when it comes to killing the animals. Oh, the animal doesn't talk. There's no way it's letting us know that it's in pain. So the animal will be slaughtered, cry out in pain, so you can't hear that, all right? But when the animal wants to connect with the human, all right, and is physically showing it, oh, you can't see that, all right? So what's the disconnect going on here? So again, let's bring it back to the topic of speciesism. Speciesism, the separation and the distinction that man, aka human, is more superior to that of the animal realm, that we are separate from nature. This is the same mentality that causes people to not give back to nature. This is the same mentality that keeps people in this idea that concrete is what we need versus gardens. Gardens is what we need. It's the same mentality that keeps people thinking that pharmaceuticals is what we need versus natural medicines, like holy ceremonies like ayahuasca, ceremonies like the iboga plant, okay, the mushrooms, etc., etc. So how, see, speciesism doesn't just have to deal with the animal realm. Speciesism also have to deal with the plant realm. All right, the plant realm. That is also important too, because we hack and we use what nature gives us through its plants, through its medicines, yet some of us don't give back. All right, and there's plenty of ways to give back. You could plant a garden. So why is it that we use nature as a way to extract, all right, and consume, versus actually having a symbiotic relationship, a mutual relationship where it goes both ways, where both parties, whether it be one, two, three, human, animal, plant, whatever the case may be. Mainly with the humans, because the humans think they have it all. They know it all. Why, instead of a mentality of limited resource and superiority, why not a mentality that we are connected with nature, therefore we are part of nature, therefore if we partake in what nature gives to us as far as food, which is the plants and the medicines and the fruits, the vegetables, right? When we do that, then now we are creating a symbiotic relationship, because now we are remerging ourselves with the reality, because that is the reality. People live a fantasy, and this is why they argue about topics, consent. Common consent does not exist. Every individual, every being has its unique way of letting each other know that, hey, I like you, I love you, hey, there's room for romance, okay, cool. Not your cup of tea, cool. Doesn't have to be your cup of tea either, all right? This is not about going after such adventures. This isn't about going against such adventures. This video is about understanding what this topic of speciesism includes. This includes, once again, let's run through it in summary. This includes speciesism. Ending it means getting rid of the act of mutilating their body parts. All right? What does this also mean? This also means understanding the connection between people who have had romantic relationships with nature, quote unquote, animal realm. Okay, what can we learn from it? What's going on? What can we learn from it that we can apply with each other? This also means, as far as the plants, this also means getting back in touch with nature and her plant medicines, okay? Instead of trying to create these concoctions made by humans that aren't in their purest form, okay? Some concoctions are good, like kava. That's good. Although my palate hasn't been for kava lately. And if you don't know what kava and kratom is, you definitely need to look it up, right? So this is what end speciesism really means. It means accepting all that comes with the connection of, or the reintegration of ourselves with nature and reality. It means coming to grips with reality, okay? There are certain things we draw the line, of course. You're not going to mix two, whether it be human, animal, you're not going to mix two physiological, mature beings with one that is underdeveloped, mature developed beings with one that is underdeveloped. That doesn't make sense. It just doesn't work that way. Chemically, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't, okay? It just doesn't. Anyways, so once again, speciesism means ending the need to control. We could put it in that term. It means ending the need to control, all right? And as far as consent, it means that when we as humans, now we're going to the human world, when we as humans go through relationships with each other and we're caught up in different moments, and then all of a sudden you look back, let's say you had a moment and you had a romantic moment with someone, and all of a sudden maybe a few years or a month or a few days down the line, you're like, oh no, I didn't really mean to do it, because now you have regret, but now you want to go and attack the other person. No. Be responsible for your own decisions. Be real with what's going on within yourself. Don't blame someone else for something you decided. I see it too much. I see that happen too many times. People go through relationships and they're like, when they end it, they're like, oh, it was that person's fault. No, it wasn't. You were both involved, all right? Oh, well, I didn't want it like that. I didn't consent to it like that. Oh, really? How about you talk that to that person? How about you express to others what consent to you is? Why? Because guess what? You'll be doing everyone a favor. You'll help everyone realize that the way we speak and communicate with each other is completely different, is unique. And there's nothing wrong with that. Too many times, this draws into relationships. See, all of these topics, that's why I say it's all spiritual, because all of these topics interconnect with each other. They all interconnect with each other. Let's drop that other topic about speciesism. Now let's go really quick into relationships. How can you be better in your relationship? Number one, learn from nature, because what you're going to notice is that nature loves itself. Loves itself so much, it gives itself so much that it's able to give and produce endless fruit, endless vegetables, endless energy. It's able to repair itself. It's able to heal itself. And we see that reflective upon the plants and reflective upon the animals. So now human, okay, when we go into relationships with each other, okay, how do you make a successful relationship? Love yourself more. Take it for what it is. Take the person for what it is. Just as a dog is willing to accept you with all of your fuck-ups, then you have to accept the other person with all of their fuck-ups. And most importantly, you have to accept yourself with all of your fuck-ups. Okay? Pardon the French. Just as a cat is able to care and nurture for itself, just as nature is able to care and nurture for itself, so must you do the same thing. I love using the example of the dolphin pack, because you'll see a family of dolphins. They all are getting together. They all swim together. They'll have their fun. They'll have their romance. chemical romance exchange, all right? And yet there is no grudge against each other. There is no discourse amongst each other. They still stay together. So who was really more advanced then? Let's be honest. Who's really more free? The human or the animal? Obviously, the animal realm, the plant realm. Okay? Even the insect. Hell yeah. All right? So if you want to make your relationship successful, you have to start with building the relationship within yourself first. Okay? When you build that relationship within yourself, when you care for yourself more, you also care for what you are putting inside of yourself. My body, my temple, will not be a tomb for the flesh or the dead flesh of another animal. When you start making a change towards a plant-based diet, yes, motherfuckers, it's all spiritual like that. When you start to make a change towards a plant-based diet, you feel different. You start to understand, you start to honor, most importantly, as I love to say it, you start to respect nature more. You start to honor when nature is trying to give you something, and you find ways to, in your own special, unique way, give back to nature, give back to yourself, give back to others. Sometimes giving back to others means all they need is a listening ear, a conversation. All right? Sometimes all they need is a smile. Sometimes that's all they need. All right? If we want to be as free and we want to be as healthy and really get into the next step of human evolution, then we're gonna have to learn a thing or two, not just from nature's creatures, we're gonna have to learn a thing or two by connecting back ourselves and reintegrating back ourselves into nature's plants and medicines. Plant medicines are super important. That is the reality. All right? This is a fantasy built on top of a reality, of a top of a world already made perfect. It ain't bad. It ain't bad. But it is not the end all and is all. Okay? It's nice. Okay? This is the creative. This is an example of the creative side of humans, of life. And that we can use to actually elevate ourselves. Look, now we have people creating bridges so that animals can cross safely. Super smart. Very smart. That's intelligence. Bridges for the animals to cross over safely. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Big kudos to that human. Right. So, bringing it all back to end speciesism means to end the differentiate or the perspective that we are more superior to others, whether it be nature, whether it be the animal, the plant, whether it be even water. Okay? Honor water too. Honor the air, honor fire. Okay? Honor the dirt, the wind, all the elements. Honor yourselves. Okay? And speciesism means honor yourselves. Yes, you are one, but you are also unique. You all have a unique way of learning things for your own life. Become your biggest student ever. Become your biggest student ever and your greatest teacher. Learn from others, but learn from yourself as well. And extract the lessons from these stories. Right? The lesson of that story with that man and the dolphin. Maybe you have a story similar when you were a kid. The lessons of maybe we can even go into the LGBT. Maybe you had an experience where you were like, let me see if this is something I'm into. Okay, no, it's not for me. I know somebody who they tried that and they were like, it's not for me. I'm like, all right, cool. It's not for you. Good. Now you know. Now you know. But now you can understand. Right? That's how we end speciesism. That's how we end control over others. And that's how we step into a much more freer life, full of abundance, full of joy, and plenty of good ass vegetables, fruits, salads, and juices, and smoothies, and acai bowls, and all that other crazy delicious shit. So if this video resonated with you guys, feel free to subscribe. Check me out on Instagram. Leave a question. Share the video. And I'll see you guys soon. Yes, it's all spiritual. Peace.